Today, we're going to explore some of the most valuable coins in U.S. history, the top 3 Susan B. Anthony dollar coins from the United States of America, dollar banknote. In this video, we'll look at their current market value, unique error coins, and the specific conditions that make these silver treasures truly special. We'll also explore the different color shades and toning that have made some of these coins major highlights in the coin collector and investor world. These rare and beautiful coins are not just pieces of American history, but also among the most sought-after collectibles that coin enthusiasts are chasing today. So, if you're a coin lover or someone who appreciates the beauty and significance of U.S. currency, this video is just for you. Moneybag, let's get started with our first rare and valuable Susan B. Anthony dollar coin. Golden myth, cold hard facts. Let's rip the curtain off the legend that a single 1979 the Susan B. Anthony dollar will instantly turn you into a billionaire overnight. That story is the coin world version of a fairy tale. Exciting, dramatic, and built on misunderstandings about mintages, metal content, and what collectors actually pay. I'm going to give you 12 long, cinematic paragraphs, rich with history, punches of drama, and clear, real-world numbers, so you can feel the romance of the coin while keeping both feet on the ground. First, the human heartbeat behind the coin, Susan B. Anthony. She was a towering figure of 19th century America, a reformer who fought for women's rights and suffrage, and placing her portrait on a circulating dollar in 1979 was meant as a salute that also marked a change in U.S. coinage. The design by Frank Gasparo was intended to be modern and dignified, and the new small dollar was supposed to replace the bulky Eisenhower dollar and the paper dollar in daily commerce. That noble idea collided with the blunt reality of public habits and pocket intuition. Now, the technical truth people often miss. The 1979 Anthony dollar is not silver. It's a copper nickel-clad coin, layers of 75% copper/25% nickel over a pure copper core, giving an overall composition roughly 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel. It weighs about 8.1 grams and measures 26.5 millimeters across. That means there's no intrinsic silver value hiding inside a forgotten pocket coin. Its metal content is common modern coinage alloy, not precious metal. Susan B. Anthony Dollar.org+1. Production numbers are another anchor that sinks many get-rich-quick dreams. The Denver D. Mint struck hundreds of millions of 1979 Anthony dollars. The Denver mintage alone for 1979 was roughly 288,015,744 coins. Across Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, the total 1979 output was enormous, which is why most 1979 business strikes are plentiful today and trade at modest premiums unless they're exceptional in grade or bear a recognized error or rare variety. In short, common coin plus massive mintage equals not a secret treasure chest. Susan B. Anthony Dollar.org+1. But coins are never just numbers. The Susan B. Anthony dollar spawned varieties and errors that do excite collectors. The so-called wide rim near date and narrow rim varieties, the fill versus clear S mint mark on San Francisco proofs, off-center strikes, clip planchets, overstrikes, coins struck on the wrong planchet such as a quarter, die breaks, and double dies. These quirks, especially when paired with gem-quality surfaces, are the things that can lift a coin's value from $1 or $2 to hundreds or even a few $1,000s. Still, those exceptions are rare and specific. Not every odd coin is worth a fortune. LiltonCoin.com+1. Let's talk high water marks so you know the ceiling for real market excitement. Auction records for top-graded Susan B. Anthony dollars vary, but the most valuable sales for 1979 business strikes have reached into the low to mid thousands of dollars when a specimen is graded at the very top, MS-67, MS-68, or when a documented, dramatic error is present and authenticated. Those headline prices are rare, not typical. They reflect exceptional condition and collector competition, not a baseline you should expect for an ungraded coin in a dresser drawer. PCGS+1. So, where did the billionaire myth come from? Two places. First, a natural human tendency to hope that something ordinary is secretly extraordinary. Second, viral anecdotes and inflated eBay/unverified listings that confuse asking price with realized auction price. People see a dramatic photo and a seven-figure value claim and forget to ask about authentication, grading, provenance, and whether the coin was a true mint error or a misidentified variety. The truth is conservative. Genuine windfalls do happen in numismatics, but they're exceptional, documented, and seldom the stuff of random luck. History courses through every groove and dent on these coins. The Anthony Dollar short-lived initial production run, 1979 to 1981, and later 1999 revival, are part of a story about design, public reaction, and the U.S. Mint learning from mistakes. The oversized hope for a coin that would replace bills met the stubborn fact that people didn't want a piece of metal that looked and felt like a quarter. Over time, collectors came to appreciate the series' place in the arc of American money, and that recognition created the collector market we see today. If you think you own a miracle, here's how to tell the difference between a plausible treasure and a garden variety pocket coin. Check the mint mark and variety carefully. Examine for clear error features, off-center, clip planchet over strike, and consider grading. Coins graded by PCGS or NGC that reach MS67, MS68, or PR69. PR70 for proofs are the specimens that command the most attention and the highest prices. Raw coins. Even with eye appeal, trade at much lower levels because buyers factor in grading cost and grade risk. Without authentication and a strong grade, a hopeful claim of millions is just that, a claim. Heritage auctions +1. Collectors also prize provenance and rarity counts. How many coins of that exact variety and grade are known? Some 1979 varieties are common in uncirculated grades. Others are extremely scarce in top grades. For example, a single MS68 certified 1979D, if truly unique, becomes a narrative coin. Everyone wants a story and the bragging rights, which pushes prices up. But even in those cases, the market remains finite. A few $1,000s, not a fortune. Auction logs and population reports are the sober, factual mirror to the daydream. Heritage auctions +1. A practical, emotionally smart approach. If you find a 1979D, don't panic sell for face value, and don't assume it's an instant life changer either. Take high-resolution photos, note any oddities, and if you believe it's an error or superb specimen, have it appraised by a reputable dealer or submitted to a major grading service. If it's a routine circulated coin, its real value is almost always close to face value or a small collector premium. The mine isn't in your pocket. It's in a specialist's eye and the coin's grade. Beware the dangerous shorthand. D does not mean diamond in the rough, and 1979 does not mean 1979 is gold. The Denver mint mark simply tells you where the coin was struck. The real economic story lives in mintage numbers, survival rates in top condition, and whether the piece has a documented, authenticated error that the market recognizes and values. Mistaking any of these shortcuts for proof of wealth is how people make poor choices, selling under false hope or buying overpriced fantasies. SusanBAnthonyDollar.org. If you crave the romance of numismatics, the idea that one small disc can carry history, drama, and value, you're not alone. The Anthony Dollar attracts passionate collectors precisely because its story is about social change, design choices, and a failed plan to replace paper currency. That narrative gives the coin emotional value that feeds a market. Financial value, however, is a separate ledger. It is slower, colder, and based on verifiable rarity and condition. To close with the honest, gripping truth. Owning a 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony Dollar might give you a delicious jolt of possibility, the thrill of holding history, but will not, on its own, make you a billionaire, flood your bank account, or erase the need for careful authentication and realistic expectations. If you want, I can now. The 1980 D. Susan B. Anthony Dollar. At first glance, this coin may appear ordinary. Its silver-like sheen, its familiar portrait, its modest denomination. Yet beneath its surface lies a story of vision, failure, rebirth, and the kind of historical significance that transforms an everyday piece of currency into an artifact of destiny. Minted at the Denver Mint, the 1980 D. Susan B. Anthony Dollar stands as a symbol of progress, innovation, and the unyielding American spirit. A coin that, in the right hands, could become a ticket to unimaginable fortune. The journey of this coin begins with the legacy of Susan B. Anthony, the fierce abolitionist and pioneer of women's rights whose name still echoes through the halls of history. When her image was chosen to grace the dollar coin in 1979, it was a revolutionary act. No woman had ever been featured on a circulating U.S. coin before her. The decision to honor her was not merely artistic. It was political, symbolic, and bold. The 1980 D dollar carried her legacy forward. Each one a tribute to equality and determination, a piece of silver tone metal that celebrated the power of change and the fight for justice. Yet, the Susan B. Anthony dollar's release was met with confusion and irony. Its small size and silvery color led many to mistake it for a quarter, causing frustration among the public. As a result, the coin circulation dwindled and millions were stored away by the Treasury, lying dormant for decades. This limited public use, however, planted the seeds for future rarity. Among those countless coins, some would later reveal subtle minting variations, errors, double strikes, and extraordinary luster that transformed them into treasures worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars today. The 1980 D Mint mark is especially important in this narrative. Coins bearing the D signify production in Denver, Colorado, one of America's most storied mints. The Denver Mint was known for precision and quality, but even the best machines could falter, creating accidental masterpieces. Some 1980 D coins were struck with slightly off-center designs or retained brilliant uncirculated finishes that glimmered like pure silver. Collectors today hunt for these perfect specimens, knowing that a flawless coin graded at the highest level could command astonishing sums in auctions. What makes this coin even more captivating is its composition. Though it looks like silver, the 1980 D Susan B. Anthony dollar is a copper-nickel-clad coin, a clever illusion of wealth and purity. This deceptive brilliance became symbolic in its own right, a reflection of how value isn't always about metal but meaning. The coin's silver glow became a metaphor for the brilliance of progress and the richness of history. In the modern market, collectors revere such pieces not only for their rarity but for the story they tell, a story of a nation evolving toward equality, innovation, and pride. Over time, rumors and myths began to swirl around certain 1980 D specimens. Some claimed that hidden within the coin's core was a rare silver strike, created accidentally during a production transition. Others spoke of proof-like versions struck with deep mirrors that rivaled genuine silver dollars in beauty. While many of these tales remain legends, they add a mystique that fuels the fascination and the soaring prices of this coin in today's market. To hold a 1980 D Susan B. Anthony dollar is to hold a piece of American transformation. It carries the weight of a century's worth of dreams, the emancipation of women, the modernization of minting, and eternal belief that progress and equality are priceless. Each glint of light across its surface seems to whisper Susan B. Anthony's words, "Failure is impossible." In today's coin market, this dollar has gained new fame. Collectors from across the globe are rediscovering the series, driven by nostalgia, history, and the thrill of uncovering a hidden gem. Auction records show that pristine examples, especially those with full luster and perfect strike, can fetch unbelievable prices, turning ordinary collectors into millionaires overnight. The true magic lies not in its face value, but in its story, its rarity, and its impeccable preservation. Imagine finding one such coin in an old collection box, a forgotten drawer, or a family heirloom. What once bought a candy bar could now buy a mansion. This transformation captures the romance of numismatics. The idea that history itself can be held in your hand, that time can turn metal into treasure. The 1980 D Susan B. Anthony dollar is more than money. It is a bridge between generations, carried with the ambitions of the past and the potential of the future. Every mark, every edge, every shine of this coin holds a whisper from 1980, a time of change, uncertainty, and hope. And though millions were minted, only a select few remain in perfect, untouched condition. Those are the coins that break records, that make collectors' hearts race, and that rewrite fortunes. So, if you ever come across a 1980 D Susan B. Anthony Dollar. Don't underestimate its power. It might look humble, small, and ordinary, but history has a way of hiding its greatest treasures in plain sight. In the vast realm of American coinage, this single coin stands as a beacon of possibility, reminding us that true wealth is not just in gold or silver. It's in legacy, perseverance, and the stories we preserve. Next up, the 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony Dollar stands as one of the most fascinating and misunderstood coins in a long, proud history of American numismatics. Born in a time of transition and experimentation, this coin was meant to symbolize progress. The first U.S. dollar coin to feature a real woman from history rather than a symbolic figure like Liberty. Minted in Denver, carrying the small but mighty D market distinction, the 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony Dollar has, over the decades, evolved from an everyday coin to a hidden treasure, a metallic relic that whispers stories of bold ambition, fleeting mistakes, and rare fortune. When this coin first entered circulation in 1979, America was on the edge of economic and cultural transformation. The U.S. Mint, after the success of the Eisenhower dollar, wanted to create a smaller, more practical coin for daily use. The result was the Susan B. Anthony Dollar, a compact, copper-nickel coin that visually resembled the quarter. It was meant to honor Susan B. Anthony, a fearless leader in the women's suffrage movement whose dedication to justice changed the course of American democracy. Yet, while noble in design, the coin's similarity to smaller denominations led confusion, and it was soon pulled from production. This short production window is part of what gives the 1979 D its lasting allure today. However, what collectors and historians have uncovered over time is that not all 1979 D. Anthony dollars are created equal. Within those Denver-minted coins lies a small handful that displays striking variations, subtle errors, unique toning, and rare die characteristics that make them extraordinarily valuable. Some of these coins were accidentally struck on planchets intended for other denominations, resulting in a mysterious silver-like shine. These wrong planchet strikes are the crown jewels of modern coin collecting, with some specimens valued in the tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars today. If a collector stumbled upon one of these rare 1979 D pieces, it would not merely be a coin, it would be a ticket to life-changing wealth. The mystique of the 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony Dollar only deepened with time. As years passed, people began discovering coins that looked different under the right light. They gleamed with metallic radiance, as though silver itself had seeped into their veins. Stories spread to the collector world, of misstruck coins that shimmer with unintended beauty, of hidden treasures sitting in dusty drawers. The possibility that a common pocket coin could be worth a fortune captured imaginations. For some, it became a modern-day American legend, the idea that fortune could be waiting in plain sight, disguised as an ordinary dollar. What gives this coin such potent energy is not just its rarity, but its symbolism. The 1979 D dollar represents the intersection of innovation and imperfection, of ambition and chance. It marks the dawn of a new era in U.S. coinage, a move towards smaller, more efficient coins, and a recognition of women's place in history. Yet its failure in circulation turned it into a quiet ghost of the late 20th century, forgotten by many, but cherished by those who knew its story. The few that carried the marks of minting miracles became the embodiment of the American dream, that something unassuming could hide unimaginable value. Collectors today seek out the 1979 D not merely for its silver-toned mysteries, but for its legacy. It's a coin that tells two stories, one of triumph, the other of tragedy. The triumph lies in its commemoration of Susan B. Anthony, whose face finally graced U.S. currency after more than a century of silence on women's rights. The tragedy lies in its premature failure, pulled from public favor and locked away in vaults, only to reemerge years later as an object of awe. Each surviving specimen, especially those with unusual toning or errors, is like a relic of forgotten experiment that accidentally birthed beauty. The Denver Mint, responsible for the D mark, produced millions of these coins, but among them, only a handful bear the quirks that define true rarity. Sometimes the edges reveal a faint double strike. Other times, the relief of Susan B. Anthony's profile appears slightly deeper or more pronounced, catching the light in a way that feels almost ethereal. The mystic of silver appearance, though technically not made of pure silver, gives certain 1979 dcoins a luster that's unmatched by later mintings. This combination of error, design, and story creates an alchemy of value no modern coin has quite replicated. Imagine holding one of these coins in your palm. A piece of history, a piece of metal once disregarded by the masses, but now potentially worth more than a luxury car or even a home. That's the paradox of the 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollar. It began as a failure of commerce but rose as a triumph of rarity. Some collectors compare it to striking gold. Others see it as a spiritual heir to the great American double eagles, where beauty and luck collide to create something timeless. The emotional weight of this coin cannot be overstated. It's more than a numismatic curiosity. It's a mirror reflecting how quickly fortune can change. A coin minted for everyday transactions has become a silent symbol of destiny, a reminder that history hides its treasures where few think to look. To possess such a coin is to hold a whisper from 1979, a metallic echo of time when the U.S. Mint dared to innovate, stumbled, and unknowingly produced one of the most fascinating rarities in modern collecting. If you have a 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollar, look closely. Every line, every shine, every imperfection could hold the key to unimaginable value. The silver-toned anomalies, the doubled strikes, and the untouched, uncirculated finishes are what dreams are made of in a collector's world. Some may laugh, dismissing it as pocket change, but to those who know the coin's legend, it's a symbol of hidden wealth and poetic irony. So, before you spend it, pause. What may look like a simple dollar could be the coin that rewrites your life story. It could be the metallic spark that turns an ordinary day into a historic revelation. The 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollar is not just money. It's a sleeping fortune, a relic of courage, and a masterpiece of unintended brilliance that continues to enchant the hearts of collectors and dreamers across generations. Next up,